Albert, prometiste que volvías a hacer aventura conmigo y encima en León y has venido.
Me lo pasé bien, tengo que volver. No me podía quedar en casa.
Nada más empezar, ya estoy feliz.
¿Sí?
Y me hiciste caso. Mira qué colorín que has metido, que te veo la camiseta por fuera, el forro amarillo así. Tú mira cómo vamos de guapines.
Elegante.
Well, it's actually huge. It's much bigger than you would expect, much bigger than an average person would know. So 35% of all microplastics found in our oceans are actually microfibers coming from your washing machines. Because, you know, when you wash your clothes, tiny parts, microplastic parts shed, and they go down the drain and into our old water supply. So I think it's a huge percent. It's a huge problem that's been under the radar now for a very long time, and you know, things are finally changing, and we're finally doing something about it. I don't really know. So I couldn't really say why brands didn't focus on that so much, but I think they, you know, it's a very complex problem. It has a lot of stakeholders. So you cannot, you know, attribute the problem to one stakeholder. You cannot say, oh, it's the washing machine. You cannot say it's your t-shirt. You know, you cannot say it's you, you know, you wash too much. So it's the household, it's the washing machine, it's the fashion brand, it's the textile, it's the chemical industry. So, you know, it has actually so many stakeholders contributing to this problem that it was very hard for one to own it. And nobody really wants to own it. You can understand that because, you know, linking fashion brand with microplastic pollution is probably not the best way to go, unless, of course, you have a solution for the problem you're acknowledging. Eventually, the washing machines will change. Thanks God. As you know, France was the first one to adopt legislation. So from 2025, all washing machines sold in France will need to have a microfiber filter installed already. So, you know, eventually other countries will follow, and it is only natural then, let's say in 5 to 10 years' time, all washing machines will have some sort of filters to prevent this pollution, or at least minimize it to a great extent. But before that, there's a lot you can do. Of course, I don't think that giving up synthetic clothes, plastic clothes, is the answer, because there's so many people on earth that dressing everybody in organic cotton, it's not feasible. Plus, organic cotton has a large environmental footprint, so it's not the answer. Also, when you go jogging, when you go skiing, you like your performance wear, you like these materials. So I think they're not bad per se, and I don't agree that everybody should just buy natural, because I don't think that's a solution. I just think you should think about it. You should just know what you buy and how you will handle it. And then, of course, you try to wash it less. You always try to wash full loads, so as full as possible, so you minimize the shedding. You use liquid detergent, you wash at lower temperatures, and you know, you can do much. And of course, you can, you know, find a way of installing either a Planet Care filter or some other external prevention to this problem if you can afford it and you feel, you know, if the problem is close to your heart. But even without the filter, there's a lot of steps you could take just by thinking about it, by acknowledging the problem. You're halfway there. Well, definitely, because regulation really helps. You know, with solutions that profit, let's say, our Mother Earth or our oceans, and are not necessarily contributing to, easier life, or, to more interesting selling proposition for washing machines, you need regulation, because otherwise it's just impossible to bring them into mainstream. People will just not adopt it. Our filter, yes, it's great, but you need to buy it. You need to attach it to a washing machine. And in a way, it's really just a few seconds a month, but it is an additional work. It is an additional occupation you have with your washing. And, many people happily do it, but never mainstream. This cannot be, 90% of the people will probably not buy a retrofitting filter. So we need regulation. We need to go into the machine. No, I don't think they do. I think this is actually something that fashion brands could play a crucial role. They could really educate how to care for the clothes that they sell, and if they're made from plastic materials, or if they're synthetic clothes, it should be really important to know that, they're shedding and how you should wash them, and also, how to repair clothes. I think it's a great idea now, the initiative to repair more, to wear longer, and, to buy less. I think the number one solution to all of our environmental problems is just buying less. This is definitely a good recipe. But, I was just today, I was looking at my daughter's jacket. It's a down jacket, and it has a hole. And it's really hard to find somebody who would repair a hole on a down jacket. So it would be great. It like Patagonia has that, and some other already, North Face, I think, has that. So if all brands could just repair, if we could just send it back and pay for the repair, I think that's a great way of preserving our Mother Earth. Definitely. I definitely agree with you. There's a big gap, because, we all are green in surveys, but in real life, this is what I was saying, because, in real life, you're overwhelmed as it is. So, you might, you maybe have kids, you have a demanding job, you have, life is busy. And what you really crave and strive for is for life to be easier, to be simpler. So you don't really want to complicate it too much, with steps you need to take in order to be sustainable, in order to be environmental friendly. So I think for us offering these solutions, it's very important to have this in mind and to design solutions as user-friendly as possible. So we don't really, we don't pose a burden on an everyday life. And I think it's better to be sustainable-ish than to be completely sustainable, because, in the long run, you'll probably, last longer as an average person. But I think still, I feel we need more education, and we need more tips. Like, okay, it doesn't really have to be complicated, folks. Do this. Number one, shut your lights. Number two, I don't know, shut the water when you brush your teeth, repair your clothes. Don't buy a t-shirt this week. I don't know, if it would be sort of broken down into simple rules, then people would follow it. But sometimes it's just overwhelming. I tell you, be sustainable, and you go like, okay, but what does it mean? What do I have to do tomorrow? I wake up and I want to be sustainable. Now what? Do I start with my coffee? And I think this is just, people need very clear and simple instructions, and then they would do it, I think. Bigger than they would admit, probably. Because, I feel in order for this process that we're in to be going on and not to jeopardize, the resources for our next generations, we just need to change the retail process. It needs to be more responsible on both ends, on retailer and consumer. Consumers, it's a popular saying, they vote with their money. So they vote with their dollars or with their euros, which is important. And they can choose which brand to support or which retailer to support. And retailers, I think they should all adopt some sort of closed loop solutions. They should all offer recycling on their premises or taking back, used items or end of life items. They should really take care of the end of life aspect, not just selling it, just the after sales service. It's really important. So, I buy it from, I don't know, Walmart, whatever. And then I want to know where will you repair it? Where can I bring it, to be repaired? When it's completely broken, what do I do with it? When can I bring? What will you do with it? How will you recycle it? I think the closed loop is really very important for retailers. Yes and no. We have not tested specific labels in our lab, so I can, I can't really say, but just more, it is true that a more quality, a fabric of higher quality has a different structure. It's woven differently, and it will generally shed less. It will literally not fall apart in your washing machine, because we have had some, I won't say the name, but we bought some very cheap polyester blankets to test in our lab, and they literally fall apart in your washing machine after 10 washings. There's no blanket anymore, So I'm just saying, yes, quality is important, because it's the textile it is made from, and it will last longer, and it will most probably shed less. And what's even more important, you will love it more. So if you just buy a t-shirt for €5, you'll say, oh, whatever, and you'll throw it away, or you'll buy another one. It's like, it's like yogurt. You're just buying it. But if you buy, more expensive jeans or a more expensive t-shirt, you will care about it. You would treat it differently. You would want to repair it. A lot.
Albert, prometiste que volvías a hacer aventura conmigo, y encima en León, y has venido.
Me lo pasé bien, tengo que volver. No me podía quedar en casa.
Nada más empezar, ya estoy feliz.
¿Sí?
Y me hiciste caso. Mira qué colorín que has metido, que te veo la camiseta por fuera, el forro amarillo así. Tú mira cómo vamos de guapines.
Elegante.